Have you ever stopped to think about what actually happens when someone calls 911 for something that isn't really an emergency? Well, today we're going to break down a new law in Illinois that's set to change the game for how fire departments handle some of those calls. And honestly, it might just change how you think about them too. All right, let's get into it.
It's a question that, let's be real, most of us probably don't think to ask, but it's at the very core of this new law. Because when our emergency services get tied up on tasks that aren't urgent, it creates a ripple effect that can impact everyone's safety.
So what's the real problem we're talking about here? Well, fire departments all over are facing this growing challenge. They're getting repeated non-emergency calls, often from the same places, and it's putting a serious strain on their people and their equipment.
And just to be super clear, we're not talking about a one-off accidental call here. Nope. This is about a consistent pattern, where some facilities have come to rely on first responders for things that are pretty routine and definitely not life-or-death situations.
And the consequences of this are, well, they're pretty significant. Think about it. Every single time a fire truck and a crew of highly trained firefighters are sent out on a non-emergency call, they're not available for a real emergency, a house fire, a bad car wreck, a heart attack. That's where they need to be. It stretches these crucial community resources incredibly thin.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this new law, we need to get specific about the kind of call we're talking about, because the whole thing really centers on one particular type of non-emergency call.
It's called a lift assist, and it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Firefighters get a call to go help lift a resident, maybe from the floor back into a chair or from a wheelchair into bed. It's providing a helping hand, for sure, but it's not an emergency.
And that right there brings us to a really crucial distinction. A lift assist call is fundamentally different from a true medical emergency. With a lift assist, there's no urgent medical crisis happening, and nobody's being rushed to the hospital. It's a service call, plain and simple, not an emergency response.
So, seeing this strain on resources, lawmakers in Illinois decided to step in. They've come up with a legislative solution that's designed to tackle this problem head-on.
Officially, the law is called Public Act 104-57. This is the piece of legislation that gives fire protection districts a brand new tool to manage these frequent, non-emergency calls and, importantly, to recover some of the costs.
Now, it's really important to know this isn't happening tomorrow. The law doesn't actually kick in until January 1st, 2026, so there's some time for everyone to prepare.
So you're probably wondering, how does this whole thing work in practice? It's not like they're just going to start charging for every single call. The system's actually designed with a very specific threshold in mind.
The whole system is built around one key number, 6. That's the magic number. Under this new law, every single assisted living and nursing home facility gets up to 6 of these lift assist calls every year, totally free of charge.
So here's how it breaks down. For those first 6 lift assist calls in a calendar year, there's no bill, no charge, nothing. But starting with that 7th call, the fire district is then allowed to charge a reasonable fee for their services.
And the law is really specific about what this fee can be. First, the count resets every single year. But most importantly, this is not a moneymaker for the fire district. The fee can't be a penny more than the actual cost of the personnel and the equipment they sent to the scene. It's purely about recovering costs, not about making a profit.
Okay, so let's tie this all together and talk about the big picture. What does this change actually mean for the facilities, for you, the taxpayer, and for the overall safety of our communities?
Well, the goal here is for this to be a positive change for everyone involved. For the facilities, it's a real incentive to, maybe invest in training their own staff on safe lifting practices. For taxpayers, it means the costs are shared more fairly instead of being shouldered by everybody. And for the fire district, and this is the big one, it helps ensure their resources are ready and waiting for the true emergencies that we all rely on them for.
You know, a local fire chief really summed it up perfectly. This whole thing is about fairness. It's designed to make sure that the costs created by one facility's specific needs are covered by that facility, instead of being subsidized by every single taxpayer in the district.
And that really leaves us with this final crucial question. How do we, as a community, strike that perfect balance? We want to be compassionate and supportive for our residents, absolutely. We also have to protect our emergency readiness. This new law is Illinois' attempt to find that balance, to make sure that help is always there, but that our first responders are kept free for when we truly, desperately need them most.